All right, let's see. Let me share and get into this $100 million moment. Let's see. All right, let's see. Where is it? Okay. All right, you guys. So, welcome to Contracts Over Content. I want to start with a number. I want to just start with a real number, and it's $100 million. And that is not a projection, ladies and gentlemen. That is not a goal. That is money that has actually been allocated by the federal government specifically to fund AI training programs across every single state in America. Now, most people scrolling their feed right now have no idea that this fund or this money even exists in our economy. However, if you are tuning in now, you do and you will understand how that money will be flowing. Because you showed up tonight, and by the end, by the time that we're actually done, you're going to understand exactly where the money is and who that money is flowing to and how you can position yourself to access these funds. All right. So let's go. Before I go any further, I want to read you something directly from the NSF website, the National Science Foundation, because I need you to hear this from their words and not my words. Okay. So this is a quote. Artificial intelligence is rapidly reshaping the United States economy and workforce, creating significant opportunities for innovation, productivity, and growth. Many states, yet many communities lack the infrastructure, lack the coordination, and lack the workforce capacity needed to fully benefit from these advances. So they're saying AI could do a lot, but we got some gaps and we need to fill those gaps. So addressing these gaps, they said, requires coordination, like John Witherspoon, coordinate. You got to coordinate. Well, this coordinated effort is a national approach to AI readiness, and that is the federal government on the record saying that the gap is not in the technology. The gap is in the infrastructure. The gap is in the coordination. And so the workforce capacity, and they're funding it with $100 million to close it. Okay. The program is called NSF, Tech Access AI Ready America. It is backed by the White House AI Action Plan. Okay, so this is not a pilot program. This is a national infrastructure build. Okay, now here's what I need you to understand about how this money is actually going to be moving, because this is where most people will get confused and end up on the wrong side of the opportunity. NSF is not writing checks to professionals, AI consultants. They are not funding your coaching program. They are not approving your course. That is not what is happening. What they are funding are coordination hubs, one per state, one per territory. So 56 total across America. And here is who is going to be running these hubs. And I think it's important because sometimes you see funding and people just start running rampant. I can promise you the money they have already, slated who is going to get these funds in these respective states. So let's just think governors, they're going to be informed, right? So those state administrations are going to be involved. And when the dust settles, the organization that leads each hub is almost certainly going to be the one of two major things: a major university or a large, well-established nonprofit with statewide reach and name recognition. So think, research universities, think United Way level type universities, think entities that already have relationships with the governor's office. That is who controls these hubs. That is who controls the coordination. And they're responsible for putting together these letters of intent, which you'll learn a little bit later. But that is not your role. Those of you who received an email to tune in for this funding tonight, that is not going to be your role. Your role, and this is where AI contract school operators have a massive advantage, is to be in the execution layer that those hubs will desperately need, but do not yet know how to find. They built the tech. Now they need deployers who are not the coordinator. You are not the coordinator. You are the operator, and the operators are the one that's going to get paid. Now, how much we're talking? It's not a whole lot of money. When I say 100 million, it sounds like a lot, but each state, each territory is actually getting 1 million over the next 3 years, possibly 4. And it's just to make sure that every American, every business, every worker is using AI to its fullest capacity, to the point that they are becoming what they call AI literate, to fluency, to proficiency, which we'll talk about that in a second as well. So I want to show you exactly why the opportunity exists and why it's so significant for people watching this right now to show up. Number one is NSF, National Science Foundation, literally said it themselves in their own webinar, and I'm going to quote them directly again. They said coordination hub should be a place where all relevant partners plug in, right? So they name types of partners that they're looking for. Research universities, community college, workforce development organizations like American Job Centers, technology councils. So it could be competitive. It doesn't mean that the whole state is going to be on this one unified plan and everybody's submitting the same thing. No. You may have workforce development, American Job Centers submitting their letter of intent. You may have a university along with some other entities submitting their letters of intent. So even the small business technology firms that's in the respective states, they may be submitting their letters of intent. So the state and local government agencies, they're going to work with the people who they believe has the strongest advantage or the strongest opportunity to win the $1 million for the next 3 years. And notice what I said, who's not on the list. Individuals, you and I, consultants, solo coaches, online course creators, we're not on the list. We do not have the capacity to coordinate across the whole entire state. So we're not on the list, not because we're not valuable. It's just because the system does not have the mechanism to find us, to vet us, or deploy us at scale. That's the gap. So the programs exist, y'all. As you know, some of us AI consultants, the programs exist, workforce development, American Job Centers, universities, they have all the degrees, certifications, you have all of the knowledge out there. So the training exists, the programs exist, the funding already exists, but they are fragmented. They are disconnected. And the hubs, when they form, will need execution capacity that they do not currently have a pipeline to access. Now, here's what makes tonight different from every other AI conversation happening right now on the internet. Because I've spent the last 8 years securing workforce contracts, almost 20 years of operating inside federal contract systems, and I've been on the inside of these rooms. So I know how the money moves, I know how the decisions get made, and I know exactly where operators need to be positioned to get in front of these hubs before the table fills up. Because we out here in these AI streets, you have, your AI Care School, your DCT, you got Alicia Littles, you got Gary Vee, you got all of these people out here, getting AI skills, right? And then they're telling us how we can take these skills and deploy them and help small businesses. And that's a great angle if you are built for that sales engine, for getting on that phone, talking to clients and selling yourself for those businesses. Buying for the business, because now you're competing against all the other 1,000 AI consultants out there. However, there is a void and a depleted space over here that I am trying to make like the bat signal go out to say, hey, some of y'all can actually come over here and deploy your AI consultancy skills and get paid to teach AI right over here. And so the hubs themselves, they don't even know how they're going to deploy at the local and rural level yet. So I said, I always mess up with rural levels. They don't know. That's why they have to put a letter of intent, most of them. But so the letters of intent is due June 15th, right? But then the full proposals are due July 16th. And you don't even have to submit the letter of intent to submit the full proposal. So this is the opportunity. They're going to be looking to see what's out there. Because guess what, y'all? If they knew it was out there, they would already have it in their pipelines doing it already. And they're not, which is why you can't even find workforce development programs across the United States with one functional real life AI program outside of a prompt engineering. Many of them do not know what AI can do. However, the people who do know, like the NSF, the people who've been using AI since AI was AI, they know, but they're like, there's a major disconnect right now between what AI can do and how we are utilizing it in our everyday lives to make us more proficient, to make us, better as a nation, as an economy. We will not be able to compete if this whole entire infrastructure loop or gap is not fixed. So this is why they're submitting their letters of intent by June 15th and their full proposals by July 16th. They are still trying to figure it out, which means that the window to position yourself as a solution to the potential problem they have, to the problem that they have not even solved yet, is open right now. AI contract school operators, quote, quote, I'm putting my little shameless plug, will have the inside strategy for exactly how we align in front of these hubs. That's not information that I'm releasing publicly tonight. You will have a link to access information on how to gain access to AI Contract School, what we do, and how to position you and your AI skills for a contract within the next 90 days. So what I can tell you tonight on this live stream is that the gap is real, the funding is real, the timeline is real, and the operators who move now will be the first in line when these hubs start looking for execution capacity on the ground floor. Now, the question is whether you're going to be one of them. I'm just saying. I mean, I can't, they say you can't bring a horse you could bring him to the water, but you can't make him drink. That's all I'm doing is bringing you to the water. That's all we do. So we're going to be in and out tonight, nothing laborious. But I do need to be clear about what NSF is not looking for. Like I told you, they're not looking for teachers. They have teachers. They're not looking for influencers. They do not care about your follower counts. They are not looking for content creators. They have content. But what they are looking for, what this entire $100 million initiative was designed to fund, are system builders. Now, the system builders are the coordination hubs, right? The people who can organize a workforce around AI. Those systems already exist. That is the American Job Centers, etc. So yes, at some point, somebody has to teach the AI. They even said that the actual chosen coordinated hubs, they're looking at more capacity to coordinate versus AI literacy. They already told them, y'all don't have to have all the AI literacy or AI expertise, but you might want to make sure you got something and know how to get it. And so we want to make sure that our operators are positioned as a resource, as a tool, as a network to help deploy in these respective states. Because again, if the solution was already there, we wouldn't need this little $100 million to help deploy it and scale it. And so NSF defined specifically what they are looking for in terms of what they deem AI ready to meet. And it's like this natural progression. Level 1, literacy. You understand what AI is. Most people here, probably on this call, understand what AI is. And so level 2 is fluency. You can use AI effectively in your workflow. And a lot of you watching are at this level. Now, I think most of us are probably at the level 3, which is the proficiency. You can actually build with AI. You can deploy AI, and you can take someone from knowing nothing actually, to actually getting paid with it. So when you guys are going for your consultation, the AI consultation, the AI agents, I think this is now we're deploying. When you are able to deploy an agent to help a small business get more sales, get more eyes on their business and grow their business, you have now been able to deploy and your proficiency. You are now building with AI. And many of us in these streets, in these AI communities, are building. And here's the line that you need to hear. If you cannot take someone from a beginner to getting paid, then in this particular workforce system, you're not going to be deemed valuable in the economy. Because at the end of the day, what's the use of knowing AI if you can't improve, build upon it, make more, be better, grow bigger, do more? Like, it's a whole, I mean, AI is like a whole, Jesus, it's like 1,000 million brains. And you have it at your disposal. And one of the things that was important that they also said is, while it is available, access is not equally, dispersed. Meaning there's going to be a lot of low-income people. You think everybody's going to be able to just pay the hundreds of subscriptions, whether it's your Claude, your Manus, your Gemini, your ChatGPT, let alone your Clean, your Grok, and I mean, come on, who is paying? Not everybody, they're not. And so they're going to need tools, resources, operators, and individuals to come through with a systematic approach to give access, to help them understand what it is, how to use it, how to build, how to make money, in today's economy. Now, and I'm not trying to be, harsh when I say this, but I promise you, some of y'all might be thinking this is maybe too big of an opportunity for me. You're not going to see yourself in it. And I promise you, if you can't see yourself, if you can't see it, then you cannot be it. If you out here creating courses, trying to get people into your course, trying to get people to buy what you're selling, if you are trying to teach AI to younger people, whether it's at the church, the community center, mentorship groups, then you are ready and fit for this opportunity. Okay. The money is at the proficiency level, but they're also looking at all types. You know what I'm saying? You may have a program. How do you package the program that you have to be able to fit in all three of these boxes? And so here at AI Contract School, that's what we do. And so we're excited because we launched before this money even was known. This money came about March 25th. I started building AI Contract School December 3rd. Because the Lord told me to build it, and we launched February 25th, and we've been growing ever since. And we are positioning our contractors to not only seize this opportunity, but all the other opportunities that are going to come from it. Because the money is not going to stop. This is just the beginning. Like, hello, everybody. Is this mic on? Okay, everybody get ready. AI ready. And the White House action plan informed that if we do not get and close these gaps, we will fall behind in leading the economy. Now, some of y'all might think we don't lead nothing. That's a whole nother story. I'm not even gonna get into that. Not tonight. So let me show you exactly what the funding structure looks like. The NSF is deploying the 56 coordination hubs, one for every state or U.S. territory. Each hub will receive approximately $1 million for 3 years. So it's a $3 million per hub, which makes it over the $100 million. So you do the math. And now here's the critical thing, and I need you guys to write this down if you're taking notes. No one is getting funded solo. So like I said, this is not a solo deal. This is all about a network. So you need to be with a group. You need to be with and belong to a network. And that is really, if I can express or explain anything that would make sense, I think if you just took your personal consultant skills and your certification to, even if you learn, by the time you learn who got the money, they would have already wrote in the letter of intent and proposal how they plan to disperse the money. They would have already created some kind of a budget and allocation, which is why we got to get in here very early so they can know that, oh my God, there's a whole group of workforce operators network out there. Let's peek in and see what they're doing. Maybe they can help us deploy this in these rural areas and maybe in these low income areas. You know what I'm saying? Because they say every American, and they wanted to make sure no American was left behind. So while your university students are going to get access to it, we are looking for the ones that would not normally have access. And I believe that is where much of the priority will be going there. So yes, this is a partnership economy. The money flows to organize the networks that can demonstrate deployment capacity across the region, and not to individuals, not to solo consultants. So I just want to make sure you understand and the expectations that as an AI consultant, Yes, this is an opportunity for you to get paid, but get paid in a very strategic kind of way. Not in, oh, my business, you know what I'm saying? Because if that's the case, it's 5,000 or not, or more, maybe 10,000 AI consultants out there. So how are you, if you are an AI consultant, how are you going to be positioned for this? You need a network. You need to plug into a framework that already exists to plug into this. And AI Contract School is that framework. So our framework plugs right up into their framework. Why? Because we've been doing business with Department of Labor, Workforce, AJCs, American Job Centers, Workforce Development for the last 8 years, since 2018, and federal contracting since 2009. So we understand, those statewide networks and how you get in and where you need to be positioned and the things that they need to hear. Plus, I am watching this funding alert, and every Thursday I'm going to be bringing you a brand new series that brings us closer to understanding not just the opportunity, but how we, by the time this thing rolls out, it needs to be crystal clear. If they don't know nothing else, they know that AI Contract School got a whole network of operators that they can deploy across the United States. And so far right now, we got about 20 states in our network. And so I'm going to put a link in the chat later on so you can learn how to become a part of the AI Contract School Workforce Operators Network, because I'm going to make sure that my operators that are in our ecosystem are plugged in to this funding opportunity. So what does a winning position actually look like in this ecosystem? So I'm going to tell you what it's not. It's not the ideas. They have ideas. It's not courses. I said that they have courses. It's not certifications. They have that. Certifications don't move money. What wins, and I mean what actually gets you funded, are funded, contracted, and paid are 4 things: statewide presence, strong partnerships, and ability to coordinate, which they are already going to have that. We are plugging into that. And so let's go to this one. So this is the shift that you actually need to feel, because I need this to be in your mind. And I need this to shift before anything else changes. So right now, there are 2 types of people in the AI space. The first type is still learning AI. And many of them are probably thinking, I need to take another AI course, another AI certification. So you might still be trying to tool up, take more courses, still thinking that you need more certifications before you are actually ready. And you're spinning in the left path loop. Learning, never really deploying anything. Learning, looping. But the second type has already made the correct interpretation. So they stopped asking, when am I going to be ready? And they started asking, where do I need to be positioned? Trust me, when the time comes, if you need to learn a specific AI skill, you're going to have that time. Okay, that's the shift from the learner to the operator. And this is the single most important thing that happens inside AI Contract School. So you are positioning, packaging yourselves to be deployed into these various networks, systems, etc. Because NSF is not putting out a call for more learners, they are putting out a call for operators, people who can execute inside of the system. So you're either going to be the one learning more AI. And I'll be honest with you, a lot of these AI consultants, God bless their heart, I ain't mad. I've been paid, thousands for many of these courses. And some of them you will need to take, by all means. You wouldn't even know the power of AI if you didn't take these courses. But at some point, you're going to have to probably ante up and say, okay, let me put up or shut up. Where is the course taking me? And for some of you guys, you're going to stay in the creator lane because the creator lane is going to work for you. But for many of you that are not going to be down with chasing that algorithm, following, getting followers, and you managing 4 or 5 social media channels, y'all just like, what, I'd rather just go to one system and one system only. So let me show you what that would look like in AI Contract School for the next 90 days, because we put you on a 90-day path to becoming fundable. So within the first 30 days, you're actually completing your core modules, and you are going to be in a position, and the goal is to secure a partner. And with that partner, you are going to submit a program application. And that partner is going to submit that program application into the system. And then we already move into the 60 days where we have to now wait to see if the board will approve it. Well, the wonderful thing about it, we have the AI action plan of the White House. You have this, huge $100 million splurge of money that's about to hit the states. Of course, it's going to be approved because right now, workforce development systems don't have no AI programs. Okay. And so, of course, it's going to be approved. This is the time in 60 days. You want to be able to get to know your partner, familiarize yourself with our program playbook. Like what happens when getting the money is easy, but what happens when you actually need to run a program? And so that's why the AI Cash Skills to Contracts Masterclass is going to be your next best step. So you can really see what's inside AI Contract School to see if that is the next best move that you need to make. By 90 days, you're either in a contract or in your final onboarding stages for a contract. And because everything, I know how to get funded, I don't see us being denied. I do not see our operators being denied in this particular season. And I think it's just like God's blessing that the funding came through, just to let you know, like, hey, this is actually happening with or without you. Meaning you could sit there, you could think, like this opportunity is not for me. Or you could just say, okay, let me just dig in. Let me just pay attention real quick, because many of us have a heart to serve other populations, right? And you want to know, how do you serve, workforce eligible participants, which if you go to the online masterclass, you're going to see exactly the type of students that workforce development will be paying you to teach. Okay. And so here is your $100, I wish $100, your $100 million moment. And I want to close with this because the question is open, right? The window is open right now, not next year, not next quarter. Now, the NSF letter of intent deadline is June 16th. Again, these coordination hubs, these big time universities, big time organizations, they already putting their letters. They're already searching right now, Googling. They probably Googling like, how they are going to get this out on the ground floor. And that's why, even with these weekly seminars or content series that I'm putting together, this is one part of the strategy and smoke signal so that we can say, okay, there is a group down there, on the ground, and they're talking our language. Let's kind of dig in. And then we have other strategies that we will be deploying to ensure, without the shadow of a doubt, that they will know that the operators from AI Contract School are not just ready to be deployed. They're proficient, they're knowledgeable, and they have systems. They have efficient, streamlined systems to take because hello, what's the sense of being in the AI economy if you cannot use AI to streamline your business, enhance, and make your program more proficient? So here, our consultants, we already know what AI is, we know how to use it, and we have built with it. So everything in AI Contract School, the system, the operational system, the back office is streamlined through AI, which makes our stuff like pristine, ready for an opportunity like this. So the full proposal deadline is July 16th. So we got maybe actually year to date, month to date, day to date, it's already April, May, June, July, 90 days. We got 90 days. The organizations that are going to lead these hubs are identifying their partners right now, today, this week. So if you are still learning when the tables fills, so if you're still learning when the table fills, you are going to be on the outside looking in and waiting for the next funding cycle. But if you make the shift tonight from learner to operator, you will be one of the first in line. And AI Contract School exists to make sure that when an institution asks who has operators ready to deploy, your name is in that answer, okay? The masterclass is your next step. Actually, I'm going to actually put the link in the chat for a minute because we're about to go into Q&A. It is a free on demand. You can watch it, replay it. After tonight, just go and just listen. Like it's an hour. An hour of your time will actually probably change your whole life. Okay. I'm going to put the link in the description. And so the question is, are you going to be in on this opportunity? I don't know about you, but I pray that God would give me something that would be a significant contributor to this AI gold rush of of an opportunity. I wanted in, but I knew I was not going to teach AI. I'm not a tech teacher. You know what I'm saying? So I'm so fortunate that he gave me the opportunity to do this. And now I get to share that opportunity with you. So with that being said, I am going to have some time for Q&As. If you have questions, you want to make sure you leave tonight with clarity, not just information. So let me see. Let me go and let me make that bigger. And then if you guys have questions, put it in the chat. I do believe that I will be able to see the questions. However, I need to get the link. Okay. Let's see. I want to see if I okay, open the chat. There you go. Hey you guys. Okay, how you doing? Hey Soul Sound Lounge. What should we be learning? What should we be leaning to or focus on? I'm gonna put this in the chat. Hold on. That's the masterclass. So right now it depends on who you are. Are you a AI consultant? Are you ready to teach? Are you ready to teach somebody? Soulful Sound Lounge wants to know where everybody is from. Put where you coming in from. Hey Shanae, where you hailing in from? What jurisdiction? What state? That would be important to know as well. Soulful Sound Lounge. It's me, D. Hey D. Yeah, y'all be having different names. I'm glad y'all tuned in. Some of these that are operators, they already in position. So listen, they can never say I didn't try. They can never say, nobody can never say, you know what, they're gonna say, you know what, dang, I did hear her say that. Damn. That's the word they're gonna say. Excuse my language, y'all. But I mean, what you want to do? You either gonna come in or you not. So for you guys that are not, I see a lot of our operators on the line. Let's see. Okay. I'm super interested. I definitely want to transition from learner to operator. And yes, I'm a consultant from Boston. Yay. Oh, Boston. Yeah, I don't know nobody from over there. Here's the deal. We got some things under our sleeve. So here you go, Boston. I'm going to send you a link. Go and watch the AI Cash Skills to Contracts Masterclass. It's an hour, I think, in 10 minutes. It'll change your life. And then just kind of reach out. Come back, reach out, say, hey, I watched it. I still have some questions. Because I was on the call. They actually have another call. In fact, let me give y'all this link so you could go read it for yourself. And in fact, because I'm not the one to gatekeep information. I do not believe in that. I believe what is for you is for you, and no one can take it. Oh, you are at AI Cash School. Nice. So the link I just put in there is to the NSF press release that they put out, just to let you know that it's real. They just had a webinar Tuesday. They're going to have another one April 28th. So I'll make sure if you're in AI Cash School, AI Contract School, you will get a link to it so you can hear it yourself. Because I like to let you listen and then we kind of converse afterwards. Our team had a meeting afterwards just to kind of see. I know what I heard. What did y'all hear? You're in Florida. Yes, Okaloosa County. I see you, D. D, you already know. You're already positioned. Boston, you might want to definitely, because guess what? Every state is getting $1 million. No matter what. Every state, there's not going to be a state that gets 2 million for the first year. Every state is going to get 1. So why not be one of the only deployers in that place? Volusia County. Where is Volusia? Volusia. I ain't never heard it. That sounds rural. Volusia, especially rural. They emphasize that. USDA is going to be on the call next week. USDA, United States Department of Agriculture. They got to focus. I promise you. Workforce Development, USDA, Small Business Administration. They are all going to get a say as to who getting what. So we can hit all of them. And we got it. Thank you, Lord. We got it. We got all 3. We got our program hits all 3. Okay, I'm on it. I just need to know what to do. Boston. Okay, I'm gonna call you Boston for now. Let me copy this. So the first thing you need to do, because I want you to make an informed decision, is go to that masterclass link, watch the masterclass. Okay, it's an on-demand masterclass that I created because most of the people probably in here, that was what I did for the last 30, 45 days. I was doing that masterclass, and this funding hit. I started to, now I'm turning it like, all right, let me make sure people know about the funding opportunity. DeLand, Florida, yes. Okay, I'm gonna put the link in there again. So go and watch the masterclass. It's 1 hour and 10 minutes, and you will have the opportunity to join AI Contract School. It's so, it's just this opportunity was specifically your $100 million moment where I get to show you this money is real. This funding opportunity is right before you. And I just want to make sure that nobody, say, why get left? I used to work at Stetson University. Nice. Okay. Nice. So somebody, so think about Boston. There has to be a major, you're talking about American Job Center in Boston. You're going to probably the University of the State of Boston or somebody. Some 2, 3 people, 3 big, huge entities from each state is probably going to vie for the money. Because I'm sure that they're going to get an administration fee to coordinate. They're going to pay. This money is going to be used to probably pay some grad students to help with the coordination. But at the end of the day, it still has to go through to train people in everyday communities. Workforce development already has dollars set aside for training. So this money will just probably be going to maybe pilot AI programs, coordinate AI programs. You know what I'm saying? So these are not, and let's be clear, because I think it's important. The money is not going to people that don't have no money. Universities have millions of dollars. Department of Labor, millions of dollars. Department of Agriculture, USDA, millions of dollars. SBA, millions of dollars. Now, the government themselves, from what I understood, they're not saying they're not totally ineligible to apply, but the goal is you don't want the government funding the government. That was not necessarily the plan. So more than likely, it's going to go to the universities. I can guarantee you when the funding hits, when they determine who gets the funding, we're going to look at the list because we're doing this every single week for 90 days. You're going to see a lot of universities. Thank you, Betty. Watch the masterclass. Should I message you when I'm in Boston? Oh, should I message you when I'm in? You will be messaged when you come in. Yes, Boston has so many institutions. Yes, so once you come into AI Contract School, should you just decide to just jump in, I like to preface it and frame it first so you know what you're coming into. You're doing federal contracting. That is not creating a $99 course, okay? Once you come in, you're going to get a one-on-one with me, and I'm going to walk you through your 90 days. And then your clock starts. And so you would have probably insider access to a $100 million move that's happening right now, because I don't know nobody else out in this community, in these streets, that is buying and preparing people for packaging them for this opportunity. And that's important. Okay, perfect. So any other questions on your $100 million moment? Now, does this mean you getting $100 million? No, we're not. But I could tell you, with AI Contract School, the way our programs are written and the way we package and position, we're talking 5- and 6-figure contracts for sure. You're so welcome. Thank you so much. So if there are no other questions, I want to make sure we were in and out in 45 minutes. And I think, oh my God, I did my job. Yay. I'll be back next Thursday. So be sure to follow me on YouTube, you guys. Hit the subscribe button, put your notifications on so that when I go live next week, you will be the first to know. And I will bring you some more juicy stuff next week as we talk about this $100 million move to teach AI. God bless you guys. Good night.